Chris Watkin back again on another estate agency stories, and today I'm joined by a very nice young gentleman called Alex Cantle, who comes from Bristol. Alex has worked for a number of independent and corporate estate agents, and in the last few years has set up his own estate agency. Alex, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Great to be invited. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is go back in time because uh, I like to tell these estate agency stories for the boys and girls out there in estate agency land, so they can learn from the mistakes you've made, the good things that have happened, the trials, the tribulations, the hopes, the dreams, the fears, and the frustrations. Because setting up your own estate agency is hard work, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a roller coaster.
So, how old are you now at the moment?
35 now.
35. Obviously, you didn't have a tough paper around you. There you go. So are you always from Bristol?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you were born what, in the mid 80s?
87. Yeah.
87. Tell me a bit about your mum and dad.
We're from a working class background. Mum's a nurse. Dad's always worked in sort of manual work. We, uh, from young, grew up in an area in Bedminster, which was predominantly very working class area
In Bristol.
in Bristol. Yeah.
So if I put a clock face on Bristol, where would that be?
South Bristol.
South Bristol.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you have any brothers and sisters?
Got a sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you the oldest or the youngest?
Yeah. I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
Yeah.
So what did your dad teach you growing up?
Work ethic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did he do that?
He's a military man. So obviously his background and his, journey has taught him what he is today, I guess. But very simply taught me that work hard and you'll reap rewards from working hard.
So were you an army brat child when your dad was still in the military then?
No,
No, he'd left by the time.
he'd left sort of 2 years before I was born.
Okay then.
He never held a particularly high rank or anything in the army, so he's not that sort of. He's just a typical squaddy. And yeah, definitely from him, kind of from early beginnings, tried to teach me that life's not fair.
Okay. How did he do that?
Just obviously by talking to me really more than anything else, but it was more of a um, you need to go out there and get it. You need to be kind of proactive. You need to try and face up to doing new things. You need to um,
Was it tough love at the time? When your younger years and your teenage years.
yeah, I would say that yeah, he was probably quite tough. Um, Good with it though, you know.
No, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
My mum
But
and dad were.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, definitely from
Okay. But it taught you hard work, right from wrong, and life
yeah,
ain't fair.
yeah, pretty much from the beginning.
What did your mum teach you?
Slightly more softer
Okay.
side to her. Um, Taught me that it was okay to be sensitive at times. And taught me that um, yeah, kind of like to more sort of follow your passions and follow what you're most interested in, not necessarily to chase after money, whereas dad was like very focused on money was important and that you need to, you know, it's what makes the world go round. It was those kind of
Bit of
yeah,
yin and yang.
comments. Yeah, 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 I'd say so.
Okay.
Yeah. And probably my personality is a little bit of both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you go to college or uni or?
Yeah, so finished secondary school, did well. Um, Went on to a sixth form college.
Okay.
Uh, didn't complete the A levels, actually left like sort of year one.
Why did you leave?
I went into uh, doing like sort of barbering and hairdressing.
What made you want to go down that route?
Had a friend of mine at the time, she was doing it. Sort of spent some time around where she was working and stuff like that, and sort of, I'd say, in all honesty, probably fell into it more than anything else.
Okay.
Didn't really know what I wanted
You
to
were
do at
to
that
join
age.
your A levels. Your friend
Yeah,
was cutting hair. You thought
give that a go.
you're
Yeah,
talking to people because I know you're a people person by the fact that we've
yeah,
known each other for a few years.
yeah, yeah.
So how long were you in hairdressing for then?
I was doing that for about nearly 10 years. I
All
want to
right.
say 8 years, between 8 and 10 years. Yeah,
I didn't know you did
yeah,
hair.
yeah, yeah.
Did you set up your own?
No, so um, I was in Bristol doing it, and then I moved down to London. Worked with quite a big firm down there. Sort of got to know that the guys that were running the firm quite well. Um, I think actually that experience helped moving into this, because I worked with an individual who was very flamboyant, very out there, but also a very good businessman. And I think one of the best compliments he ever gave me was, um, put you in a room with people or put you in, um, a, an area of a team, and you were people want to work with you.
You're a people magnet.
Yeah, and he said you're like you attract people, and he said I think you influence and help get the best out of people. Um, he said to me, I don't even think that you try to do it. It's something that's
Just
in
you.
just you. You being you, you can make let's just call it a place of work, which it was. You can drive a positive energy in that place, and that was a that stuck with me, that compliment, and I've carried that with me and tried to carry on being the person that whatever he could see at the time, really.
How does and don't rush this, but how does someone who worked in a big city in Bristol, because it's one
Yeah,
of the big cities, at a premier hairdressers, go to London? Because
yeah,
that's if you don't mind me saying, that's big shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Working for a big firm,
yeah,
and don't rush this, but
yeah,
what made you decide that you didn't want to cut people's hair
yeah,
and wanted to sell houses?
yeah, yeah. That's a very good question. So they are relatable in some ways,
Yes,
very
people.
people based, personable, and um, if I'm honest with you, I don't think I was ever the best at doing it. So I was okay. I
Oh, don't
was
say,
I
don't pull
was
yourself down
no, no,
here.
no, no, no. I just been
You,
honest. Being honest. Like
okay.
I was like I was okay at it, but I wasn't the best. Um,
You must have been pretty good to go to
yeah,
a
yeah.
big salon in
It,
London.
it it's
Or were you judging yourself against like the,
yeah.
the big
Some
swinging
of the
dicks?
people down there, obviously, when I got to London, were at the top of their game. So then you're kind of dropped into which is good because it makes you get better
So
and
you were a big
yeah,
fish in a medium-sized pond in Bristol,
yeah.
and then you became a
Well, it
small
was,
fish in a big pond in London.
I guess so, yeah.
But
And
you had to
yeah,
pass you had to be a pretty big fish in Bristol to
yeah.
get to London.
It it is also a very difficult industry to, dare I say it, earn a particularly good wage.
And especially
So
in London, you have to earn twice as much as everywhere
yeah,
else.
and you perhaps maybe you're not, and then so it was a financial decision also to come out of it.
Okay. Did you almost hit a glass ceiling, do you think?
You I kind of get to the point really where I wanted to get back towards home. So I actually went to Cardiff, not Bristol, but it was, sort of back towards that way. So I wanted to get back towards home. Um, you kind of hit a crossroads where either opening your own salon is the next route or leaving the industry really. So I decided to leave the industry and I looked at either mortgage advisor route, or estate agency. And a friend of mine was working with tailors at the time, countrywide. Um, I contacted him. I don't think they had any space at the time in Cardiff. So when I was because I'd taken the hairdressing back to Cardiff, I'd walked in a
To earn some money.
yeah. Well, basically the London firm, were then setting up a franchise in Cardiff, and the individual that I was working with was going to become the franchisee owner. So he already had his own small salon opposite Red Homes. So I got chatting to them a little bit from
So,
being over the
so
road
you
from them.
so you moved from London to
Yeah,
work with the franchisee you'd set up Cardiff,
yeah.
and the estate agency you eventually worked for
For a brief period of time was based opposite.
opposite. And
Yeah,
obviously you got chatting, and you're a
yeah,
people person.
yeah. Got chatting to
You know, when you
yeah,
moved to Cardiff,
yeah.
was the intention to be an estate agent or mortgage arranger?
I was moving to Cardiff with the viewpoint that I don't know if I'm going to be in hairdressing for
But you
much
didn't know
longer.
what you wanted to do, that you wanted to do
No.
something.
It was going to be something sales based because I thought I've got that people person element and the rest of it I can use that. Um, and those were the two things that I sort of earmarked really
Lovely.
as moving into, yeah.
Okay, you said you wanted to be a mortgage arranger or estate agent.
Yeah.
Is that simply because your mate was one? Or had you been watching the Kirsty and Phil show? Think, oh, I love property.
A little bit, but I think I had two friends. One was a mortgage advisor, one was an estate agent at the time. And I sort of thought to myself, I reckon I could do that.
Yeah,
And I did have an interest in property.
yeah.
So it was kind of
Kirsty and Phil, and
yeah, and yeah,
Grand Designs.
exactly. It's all
We all love that
yeah,
shit, don't
yeah.
we? Homes under the hammer.
It's all become like over the last 10 years, it's all become more and more popular and yeah,
Did you give up your hairdressing job and just I mean, you came in at the bottom ladder. You
yeah,
were admin assistant, so stroke sales progressor
yeah,
in 2013.
yeah,
Was it how you thought it? And again, just think that you know your first couple of weeks.
yeah,
Don't think what you know now.
yeah.
Is what property was, what you thought property would be after 2 weeks of working for Red Homes, the same?
No,
No, it wasn't. Everyone thinks you razz around the countryside
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
just thought it was going to be a doddle, really, but it's far from it. Yeah,
Did you at any time during those couple of years at Red Homes
yeah,
have any wobbles at all?
yeah. Well, actually, and honestly, I was only there for about 6 months, and uh, the reason why I moved on to my next place of work was because they actually couldn't afford to keep me in the company. So I guess actually my first taste of estate agency is um, how much you really do rely on your business being successful and producing something. Otherwise, it will no longer be, and that's why they couldn't afford to keep me on board.
So
And
did
actually,
they?
they did fold. They folded up fairly shortly after.
So did they ask you to? Did they make you redundant?
Yeah, yeah.
But did you almost walk into another job with Taylor straight away?
Yeah, I reckon this was uh, before a Christmas, so perhaps maybe in the late November. She said to me, "Unfortunately, we can't keep you on anymore." And I started with Taylor's Countrywide in the January.
Okay, so you had Christmas off.
Christmas off. Yeah, I'd met the regional manager for Countrywide in just before Christmas in the December, and I was reliant on the time in passing a driving test to be able to get the job. And James Colin at the time, I think he did see something in me in that interview in me. Um, Although I had a beard and I had brown shoes on and the rest of it wasn't quite in line with their company policy. I think he overlooked that and I think he could see there's someone there in front of me who is got some passion, bit of a go-getter. And he said to me if I was to pass my driving test, which I had on the New Year's Eve, that there would be a job waiting for me.
Lovely.
So yeah,
So did you go? Did you go straight to valuer, or were you negging first?
straight negotiated to start off with.
Okay.
Yeah,
What did you like about negotiating?
I liked the people like going out and
Bit
about
of a
and
theme
meeting
here, isn't there?
viewings. Yeah, yeah, out and about meeting people, meeting new clients at viewings. And it felt like a nice job with the fact that you are in an office, but you've got the ability to
Mm.
be able to go out on appointment.
How quick before they got you out on valuing?
Um, like 6 months.
Okay. Can you
Yeah,
remember your first
I
valuation?
can. Yeah, it was in
Yeah.
Cardiff.
You
Yeah,
get it?
in a small one bed flat. Got it on. Yep.
Hey.
Came
We
back.
all remember our first, don't we, kids?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
do as well.
Yeah. Came back with a fee that the manager was happy with. So
Good for
yeah,
you. Did you get it
yeah.
sold?
Got it sold fairly. I didn't, the negotiators did, but
Okay.
yeah, the dynamics of what was meant to happen happened.
Good stuff. Well done, mate.
Yeah, yeah,
So, did you find valuing, forget the money,
yeah.
did you love valuing more than negotiating?
Absolutely. Yeah,
You found your,
yeah. Niche. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's almost, you're having the one-to-one interaction
yeah,
like you did with the hairdressing, but you
yeah.
haven't got to cut people's hair or get products on your hands.
No, no. And I loved the element of challenge. Um, if they were saying, "Oh, I was getting three valuations," I relished it. It was, it, yeah, the competitive side of me came out then.
Do you know when you lose a valuation,
Yeah,
does it feel like a stake has gone through your heart?
yeah, it kills. Yeah,
Does it still kill?
yes, it does. Yeah, 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 it does hurt.
Because I genuinely
Yeah,
believe, and I'm not, that is a weakness of the industry.
yeah,
That we could put 10 houses on the market
yeah,
and you lose number 11,
yeah.
and you might as
It
well,
happens to me. Yeah, eight go on, lose two, and those two that I've lost hurt. And
because
I,
it should, they
yeah,
should, the emotion of winning and the emotion of losing, I know they're positive and negative,
yeah,
should be the same, but it
yeah.
isn't, is it?
No, and I never blame the client. It's their choice. It's their house. It's their decision. I blame myself always, and I ask myself why. Why did I lose that one? What did I do wrong?
Yeah, but that's better than most valuers because they
Mm.
blame the vendor saying overvaluing or fees. Where did you get that? Because that is quite a rare skill in a state agency to not blame to
Yeah,
take self responsibility.
yeah. But I
Were you
feel,
always like that?
yeah, absolutely. I'm very self-critical.
That comes back. Do you think that comes down from what your dad taught you?
Possibly that life's unfair, and it's you can't win them all sort of attitude. Um,
But do you think by thinking that way that you lose less because you think to yourself, well, shit, I could have done that better?
100%. I come out of that evaluation, and if in a day or two I, in all fairness, normally always get a client email me or they do let me know. It's very rare that a property just goes on the market and I'm not notified by the client. So I do feel from that respect that I've obviously done enough to earn the respect that I deserve a message back or to be told why that they've decided to go elsewhere. Um, and then I do for that day scrutinize myself and
That day, that's a long day. That's
yeah, yeah. Scrutinize myself as to why not. I I could then go and win another eight or nine, and I will still go back to that one that was lost 2 months ago. And like the conversion rate I'm running at is really quite good. And but I still focus on we could talk numbers. Let's say out of 24 appointments, 16 have been won, eight have been lost.
no, is that eight lost to another agent or eight not come on the market?
Eight lost to another agent, 16 come on with me, and you'd think you go back through those appointments and um you want to research why you want to because I want to know, is there something that we need to learn from it as a company? Myself and my business partner Andy will discuss that quite a lot. Um, do
Do
we
you ever
need
get
to
that?
evolve? Do we need what? Is there something that we need to be doing? Is there something that the customer has highlighted maybe perhaps in that loss, which you could implement into the firm and become better?
Do you ever follow up with a phone call asking why you lost it?
Yeah, and or send
Or
an
does Andy?
email or no, we our businesses are even though we are together, they are separate. So we take ownership over our own
Okay.
businesses.
Just an
Yeah,
idea is they're more likely to tell you the truth to someone who's not you.
true. Yeah,
Just a thought there,
yeah,
boys and girls.
yeah,
Get a colleague to,
yeah,
you know, I know you've lost it, but
yeah,
and the true art is making them feel that they want to come back to you because I find it fascinating that an agent will get three agents out, agent A, B, and C,
yeah,
okay, and they go on with agent B for whatever reason. Let's say they overcooked the valuation, it was a cheap fee, whatever,
yeah,
and it's on for 20 weeks.
yeah.
Which agent will the vendor go back to at the end of the 20 weeks?
They'll go back to the agent that actually told them the value that
What,
is realistic. Yeah.
they actually go to agent D
Right. Okay.
in most cases
Yeah. Yeah.
because agent A and agent C who lost it didn't make it easy for the vendor to make contact. And this is where
Yeah.
I know you care, but most valuers, they don't make it easy for the vendor. If let's just say someone overvalues a property,
Yeah.
you, if the vendor comes back, the vendor's going to say, well, you were right and I was wrong. And
Yeah.
no one's going to make a phone call saying, I'm going to look stupid.
No.
So therefore, we as estate agents, and again, just a lesson for you boys and girls out there in estate agency land is, please, 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 if you lose a valuation, over communicate. Make it easy for them
Yeah.
to come to you, so they don't feel stupid.
I think I was perhaps maybe a victim of my own success in some ways. When I set this company up in the locality that it was a fresh idea, and I didn't lose anything for probably a good 6 months to nine
What do
months.
you mean use what? For what? Use anything?
No, I didn't lose anything.
You didn't lose
No,
anything.
I probably for nearly the first year, every single appointment I went to, I was taken on the market.
Okay.
I think it was because a lot of those people were maybe drawn to that model, perhaps, have been recommended through somebody else from knowing me prior.
But you're losing them now.
A little bit more, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Why?
I think that uh, towards the quarter back at like around quarter 4 last year,
Which is 2022.
yeah, I started to be careful with my valuations,
In
um,
terms of your pricing that you.
pricing,
Okay.
yeah, and I lost a couple on price, um,
Yeah.
which is naturally going to happen as the market changes,
Mm.
and fee on 2 occasions,
Okay.
as I'm not the cheapest estate
No.
agent out there,
Well, at the
and
end of the day, it's not all about the numbers. It's about the money that you earn and what the
yeah,
difference you can make to people. I know you
yeah,
do that because you get a lot of good feedback. Let's come
yeah,
back to your story.
yeah,
You you left Taylor's after a year and went to Chapel Matthews
yeah,
in Bristol.
which is
Is it
all within the Countrywide brand. Yeah,
all right? So
yeah,
still within. So
yeah.
you wanted to move back to Bristol to the family.
Been working in Cardiff as a negotiator and valuer, and then um, moved back to Bristol due to personal reasons.
Okay. Was it good to be home?
Yes. Yeah.
Can't be a bit of Bristol, can you?
No. Yeah.
Dude, it's a lovely city, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We and the lads, we've been a few times because you can get a train from Grantham to Bristol and still be there for 9 o'clock.
Right. Okay.
And it's bloody miles away,
I
isn't
should have got that today then.
it? So you're still within the countrywide network,
Yeah.
and then you moved almost straight a year later from senior valuer to branch manager.
Yeah. Back into the Taylor's brand. So the Chapman and Matthews branding of Countrywide was a little bit more sort of high end,
Okay.
dealing with.
So, what, in Bristol? So what,
Yeah.
around the Clifton area?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it round there. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
It's lush, isn't it?
So. Yeah, and I'm dealing with value now, really quite up there, so
Yeah.
million plus,
Yeah.
and that
Did
brings a certain type of clientele, and yeah,
did you have to learn pretty quickly just that they are still homeowners, but you
yeah,
have to deal with them a little bit differently, haven't you?
yeah, absolutely, and perhaps you do go in there speaking a little bit better than normal, you know, but I think if you come across as polite and well mannered and listen.
Yep.
So everyone's the same, really. Humans are all the same, aren't they? If you listen and take an interest in what they are interested in, they're going to want to use you, to be honest. They're going to want to work with you.
I think that's a lesson for all estate agents.
Mm.
I think a lot of people on the foul, it's not about almost plug and play. This is my valuation.
No.
The more you listen, the more you'll get back because that's
Yeah.
all people want.
Yeah.
How different, when you went back to Taylor's to be branch
Yeah.
manager, were
Yeah.
you still valuing at the same time?
I was, because the branch was going through changes, that particular branch. This was now taking me back to, this branch was located where I was from, where I grew up.
In South Bristol.
In South Bristol, Southeast Bristol, yeah.
So did the job come up? So the job came up and you went for it, or did they approach you?
The regional at the time said to me that I don't think Chaplain Matthews is as suited to you as what this will be. He knew that I wanted to go. That he knew that if I put me back in that branch, it would be very much suited to me, being from the area, know lots of people in the area, a lot of connections in the area, and he wasn't wrong. I started to turn that branch around from failing to doing quite well.
So was this your first time actually managing people?
Yeah.
But you said to me
Yeah.
in the previous conversation, no, sorry, start again. Do it again. So was this the first time that you were actually responsible for people, managing them?
First time I was actually responsible and managing people, yeah.
How did that go?
It went quite well, actually.
Did they put
Yeah.
you on any training, or did they throw you in that deep end like the rest of us?
He threw me in the deep end. and I tried a very nicey approach with people.
What
Yeah,
you treat them like human beings?
yeah,
Wow,
and
that's a bit cutting edge, mate. But did you? But you got you. So you weren't beating them up because they missed their target by one KPI or anything like
absolutely
that.
not. No, I think that my approach was to build a friendship relationship. Also got to keep it professional, but
Yep. Can't be their best mates, can
no,
you?
but it was definitely let's build up a trust, like let's build up trust with one another, and then if at the end of the week you said, "Oh, Al, I've sold 5 houses this week. Do you mind if I finish up a bit earlier on Saturday?" Yeah, go on, why not? You know, good for you. Well done this week, you know, for that.
And how long were you branch manager there for?
Probably about just under a year, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're moving quite quickly, aren't
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay.
Some and a lot of it was to start off with was personal life,
Yeah.
and then it was probably chasing after. If I'm completely honest,
Be honest.
yeah, probably never happy. So maybe jotting about trying to find happiness, except for the Spice of Heart time, which I was enticed by.
So that's
Yeah,
so you left.
yeah,
So you were enticed
yeah,
to do a cold start
yeah,
in
yeah.
whereabouts in Bristol?
Back in Clifton.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay. Cold start.
cold start. Yeah, yeah,
Now that's interesting because, you know, I'm going to use my words here. Hart are a very good estate agent. Quite, if you don't mind me saying, ballsy.
hmm
That's not a criticism, by the way.
yeah, yeah,
I've got a lot of respect for the guys.
yeah.
Um, how did that go? Because, big, brash,
Yeah.
door knocking, leaflets through door, we're brilliant, that sort of stuff. Which again, I'm not criticizing. That's
No,
just
no,
their
no,
style.
no, absolutely. I don't think it suited my personality.
Did it suit Clifton?
No,
Well, so okay, all right. So how did it go? I mean, how long you were there for a year
6 months.
and you left?
Yeah,
Clifton is, outside London is probably one of in the top five posh areas
yeah,
outside London.
yeah,
They were wanting Hart were wanting a flagship posh office,
yeah,
right? Nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
But they were using their more
yeah,
normal techniques.
yeah. And I'd say the branding is quite colourful. It's quite bright, and I think that the clientele around there are perhaps more conservative.
Okay.
And that Richard Hardins are an agent in Clifton that are very well established and are very preferred in that area.
So what did you like about working for Hart?
I liked the focus that they had on marketing.
They are very good at that.
Yeah,
Good photography.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
they did video courses. Did they do video courses with you at that time, or was that
That
just
came
before?
a bit later on, I think. Yeah,
Okay, so good photography courses. I know
yeah,
that for a fact.
yeah,
But it just wasn't working. It just didn't work out for you. You were there 6 months.
yeah.
You just didn't feel right.
No, no.
So you went to the big. You were loving the purple, so you went to Purple Bricks. So
This
this
should be an interesting one.
so this was 2017.
Yeah,
Okay.
still Purple Bricks 1. Yeah,
So that's when the
Kenny and
Bruces was
Michael are still there. Yeah, well,
yeah.
it's only been 2 years old at that point. Yeah, yeah,
There,
yeah.
yeah, everyone says it was like a big family.
It was amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
You went to their famous conferences,
Yeah,
and if you
yeah,
could have,
yeah,
I know you're running your own business now,
yeah,
and I know you're happy now, but you
yeah,
also want to progress on. But
yeah.
would you say that that's been the happiest time of you as an employed estate agent?
Yes, I was self-employed at the time,
Come
but
on, mate.
yeah.
Come on. Come on. Don't put it on, mate. I'm, you could say if you got to say, okay, self-employed.
Halfway there.
Okay, then whatever.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
but okay,
Yes.
working for an organisation, whatever
Yeah.
your tax status is,
Yeah.
winky wink, was that your happiest time?
It was
Why did you? What was the passion? What was the? It was like people say it was like a big family. Talk to
because
me.
we felt like we were part of something together. It felt like, dare I say, it felt like a movement, a cult in some ways.
Yeah,
But it was so enjoyable. You were working with like-minded people, and for the first time, you were taken away from that branch setup. You felt like you did have the freedom and flexibility, And um, I think Kenny and Michael created a culture.
Amazing people, good friends of mine. I'm
Yeah,
happy to, they've been on the sofa. Uh,
yeah. With
Mike's
that,
been on twice,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
What without criticizing,
yeah.
when did it begin to change?
I was there for 3 years. I'd say that the changes started happening probably in about year two,
Which would what be 19?
19.
Is that so? That's when Kenny and Michael
Both left.
both been out of the business, and
Yeah.
and that magic did it go overnight or did it slowly go?
Um, I'd say that actually probably quite noticeable in a 3 month period from them leaving. But after Kenny left, which was a little bit later on,
Yes,
I'd say that shortly after that fizzle, that spark had gone
and it kind of just felt like a corporate estate agency.
very quickly. Felt like I was back working for companies that I've worked for in the past.
How did that make you feel?
Um, like I needed to go and do something on my own
Now you set up your own estate agency
with Andy.
with Andy. It was ex Purple Bricks. It was Purple Bricks
Yeah,
as well.
myself and Andy met back in Taylor's Cardiff. When I was the neg valuer, Andy was the branch manager. He
But
then
he was in
yeah,
Cardiff. So
yeah,
what's the advantage of setting up a business with one person in Cardiff and
yeah.
one in Bristol?
Good question. So obviously he's actually in Swansea. So
Okay,
yeah,
fair goes then.
yeah, yeah. So he knows his locality. He's very interested in your local article recently. Yeah, he knows his locality very well in that area. Although he's not from the area, he's been in that area for a long time. And I know the locality that I'm in Bristol, in that area very well.
I mean,
Uh,
what advantages are you? Have you got? Okay, you got one website and probably one CRM. So
yeah.
what?
So we can cover costs together,
Okay,
which helps. It'd be a bit harder for me to have set up on my own and
okay.
taken on that burden of cost. But actually, as an individual that I get on very well with, and I do think that our ideas bounce off of each other, and there's an alignment in what we agree with the way that we feel a state agency perhaps should go.
Would it be fair to say that you've got one business, but really it's two, and what you've really bought is a little bit of sharing of costs, but actually
Yeah,
in reality, someone who's going through the same pain as you.
yeah,
That you
actually, yeah,
is that it in a
yeah, yeah.
nutshell?
Yeah. We've been through the same journey, and perhaps we share the same sort of outlook on why we're doing what we're doing now.
So you decided to set up your own business, by which time
Yeah.
you'd met your partner Jade.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the
Um,
business got set up beforehand, actually.
okay then.
Yeah.
And then you met Jade, who's your
Shortly
partner.
after. Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah.
She from Bristol.
She is. Yeah.
Good stuff. What does Jade bring to you as a person?
Jade is very calm, very relaxed. Um, she is very quiet, meek. So sort of everything that she is, I'm not really.
One of these people that probably doesn't say much, but when she does, you listen.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she's actually very spiritual. Um, sort of got sort of a philosophical sort of approach on things, and
And do you feel that she's made you a more rounded person and probably a better human being
I
and
do,
probably a better estate agent?
I do, because I think that Jade's outlook from a spiritual point of view is if you bring that into your estate agency, you're certainly going to be more open, you're going to be more empathetic, and you're going to be able to relate to people more, and you're going to stop looking at it as a number business and
Yeah.
start to look at it more as a people business.
Because I think we're so lucky that we basically help people move from one chapter of their life to another. And I bang on about it constantly on social media. Don't see it
Yeah,
as a transaction, see it as a relationship.
yeah,
And and yeah, and I think as soon as agents see it that way, I think we'll be happier, and ultimately we will earn more money. Not that we do it for the money, but the
no.
money. Yeah.
Kenny Bruce made a very good comment actually while I was at Purple Bricks, and that was chase after success. And if you chase after the success and you become successful, the money will just be a byproduct of your success. And that stayed with me as well.
Too right. So it's a very wise man. You said you were self-employed with Purple Bricks, but
Yeah,
let's be frank.
yeah,
I'm going to make a statement. You might not disagree with
yeah,
me,
yeah,
but most of the vowels came in because of the brand, not
yeah,
because of what you did.
yeah.
Surely you were shitting yourself about handing your notice in and starting your own agency.
100%. I've been trying to do it for 18 months, and I've been kept on talking myself out of doing it. Um, the regional at Purple Bricks at the time, I sort of made some noises about perhaps going it alone and giving it a go. And it was always said to me, what will you do? Where will your vowels come from? How will you generate vowels?
So using fear.
Yeah,
And let's be honest, I know that's a bit naughty, but
yeah,
you'd do exactly the same if the roles were reversed.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I got lucky because I got caught out in Tenerife in the pandemic where I couldn't get back. And uh, my sister very kindly stepped in and helped out with the purple brick stuff. But it gave me time to really think.
What do you mean she went in and did the valuing?
Yeah, yeah, she started doing the valuing.
Was she an estate agent?
No, no, but she did very well at it actually.
Is she still in the
She's a
estate?
lawyer,
All right.
so she's very good at, you know, she could be a very good estate agent if she wished. And she took over the role while I was away for 3 months. Andy had already set up the moving new branding and whatnot and the rest of it, so it kind of was in the pipeline. And he'd been saying to me, you know, jump on board, come on in, and all the rest of it. And I think that time in Tenerife gave me a time to decide, do you know what, I'm going for it.
Can you remember when you handed your notice in?
Yes, I rang them up and I said to them that when I get back, so I think it was early March of 21, I said, when I get back, I won't be coming back to working with you guys. And just left it like that.
So you started when? Spring 21?
Spring 21.
And now we're in spring 23.
Yeah,
So 2 years in.
yeah.
What would you do differently this time?
I would have gone VAT registers from day one.
Okay.
That would be one of the things that I would have done differently.
What else?
I would have the marketing and branding that I've got now, um, with quite a large face on the board and the rest of it. I'd have done that from day one.
So personal branding.
Personal branding would have
Yep.
done that from day one, and I would have established a more consistent with Andy, a better, more consistent CRM system that we would have worked and maintained and used from the beginning, rather than chopping a couple of times.
What's the future for you?
That's a good question. I've just recently attracted a subcontractor to work in the business, Natasha. Natasha's covering another area of Bristol, predominantly BS15, and she comes from a mortgage background, so she's not actually an estate agent from the off, but she has got the passion, drive, ambition, and tenacity that I think that it takes to be a successful estate agent. And I would like to see two, three, maybe four others coming on board with myself in the Bristol area, so that we've started to grow a Bristol team. That's where I'd like to see it go.
Uh, Alex, thank you for your time today. That's been very inspirational. We've got some great learnings of what you do differently. Talking about shitting yourself when you hand your notice in, but you're only here once, aren't you?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and I think a big thing is people often fear what other people are going to think about them. Fuck them, I say. Get out there because if you're as good as you think you are, you'll succeed. Thanks for your time today, mate.
Thank you.